In this video, I'll show you how to move from this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. To this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. And my number one tip on singing and playing the guitar at the same time. Like me. Welcome back to Relax and Learn Guitar. I'm Kevin, and that is Maggie May, getting her YouTube treats out of the way. My wife Vicky's behind the camera.
Hello.
Let's get started on this lesson. So singing and playing the guitar at the same time is a lot like doing the old, rub the belly, tap the head, and sing at the same time. Because when we're playing and singing at the same time, our fretting hand is playing some chord shapes. Our strumming hand is strumming the rhythm. And then our voice is singing the melody, which is completely different than those other two things. So if you are struggling with this, you are not alone. I want to show you kind of where I see people kind of start and then how to move on from that kind of first stage of playing and singing at the same time. Some folks in our guitar membership have been asking about this. What I hear from folks is this. Hey, Kevin, I can play this song perfectly, and I know the words, and I can sing the song. But when I try to do those things and put them together, it sounds horrible. So what I want to do is kind of help you get past that. My number one tip is to not stop moving forward. So one of the first things that I see people do or hear people do, I did the same thing, is when you're learning to play and sing and do that at the same time, get a lot of this. We'll just use Amazing Grace for the example of this lesson. So we have Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
But that doesn't sound bad.
No, it doesn't sound bad, but it doesn't sound as kind of natural or flowing as the actual song does.
True.
So it's not like wrong to do this. I'm just saying this is kind of like the first step I see people take, but then they don't really ever get past that step.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong with it. What's happening there, as you can see and hear, is I'm just strumming down on a chord when I say the words of the song. Amazing grace. Yeah, so my strumming hand is connected to my voice and the melody, and 90% of the time the song is not written that way. So, it's nothing wrong with it, but you don't want to stop there. You want to get past that. You want to start doing things like this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. That kind of thing. So if you see and hear what's happening there, my voice is not doing what my right hand, my strumming hand, is doing. It's also not doing what my left hand's doing. That's why I was kind of making that analogy. So what I want to help you is a couple of tips on how to move from, just strumming down on the syllables or the words to actually singing a melody over the rhythm of your strumming. All right? So first step is actually do that. do the syllables with the words. There's nothing bad about it, but you have to have a starting place to know you're making progress. My tips come into this order when learning how to sing and play at the same time. Number one, chords. Focus on your fretting hand first. Learn the chords of the song. Pick an easy song that doesn't have, 15 different chords and rhythms in it. Just an easy 3-chord, 4-chord song. Amazing Grace has like 5 chords, but you guys understand the idea. So learn those chord shapes. Be able to close your eyes and make chord changes. All right? That's kind of number one. Then learn the melody. You can do that by just listening to the song over and over, or it might be a song you've been listening to since you were a kid or a teenager, but learn the melody of the song. You want to hum that melody. You're not even touching your guitar yet. You've gotten the chords under your fingertips. You've kind of stopped there. Next step, learn that melody, be able to hum it. If I hum, you guys are never going to hear it because my voice is so low. But get used to kind of humming that melody. Then sing the song without playing your guitar. So be able to play the song, know the chords, and then sing it, but you're doing these things separately. We're going to combine it kind of at the end of these steps. The next step is learning the rhythm. So you've got the chords, you've got the melody and the humming and the singing down. Now you want to focus on the rhythm. You'll pick a pretty easy strum pattern to start out with. For Amazing Grace, it can just be one long down strum. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Now, you might be saying, isn't that what you did at the beginning of the video? Not exactly. If you listen and see what I'm doing there, I'm not strumming on every word. Amazing, or syllable, actually is a better way to put it.
Yes.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. It's a little different. Just one, start there as a beginner, just one long down strum on those chords. You can move from that to this. We're just going to strum down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Your voice and the melody is separate from the rhythm that you're strumming with. Your rhythm that you're strumming with is really connected to your toe, of all things, and tapping your foot. If you really want to know what that means or how I kind of teach people that, check out this video next when you're finished here. But your rhythm is connected to, you're strumming your rhythm is really connected to your toe tapping. Your voice floats over that or gets sang over that is how I kind of think about it. They're two separate things. So the other thing you can do is just mute your strings. You've got the chords down. You can add those later. You can also mute your strings and just Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Then add in the chords. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. And then kind of move on from there. For this particular song, this drum pattern works pretty good. Down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down. A little more involved than just down strums. And again, you could just mute the strings. Amazing grace kind of thing. But it's a progression. My number one tip, don't stop here.
Don't give up.
Yeah. Amazing grace, how sweet. Start there, but then use these tips and suggestions to kind of move it forward to eventually where you can do Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Oops, me. Like I said, know the song down cold. But hopefully this makes sense. If you find this video helpful and something that you'll be able to use, please hit that like button. We appreciate that. So stick with it, and to get my number one tip on making that strumming sound better, check out this video next. Remember that you're never too old to learn, and we'll see you guys for the next lesson.
Take care.